Good afternoon, and thank you for signing up for the Did You Know webinar Series 10. Today, we're going to be covering 3 topics. Ease of use for case managers. I've recently been out to some partners that have been on our system for quite a few years, meeting with their case managers, well, with all their staff, but case manager in particular, and I was showing them some of the new stuff we've done to ease the use of the system for them, and they were shocked. They had no idea. So, and this was like 3 different partners that had been with us for quite some time, and so I thought, man, I got to cover this in a Did You Know webinar. So that's going to be the first topic. The second topic, I'm actually going to switch these two. I'm going to do signatures next. Because with some of the work we've done around signatures, your organization can really ease up the amount of printing of paper, going out, getting signatures, so on and so forth, and then scanning and uploading them. So I just want to cover those again. And then the last thing we're going to look at is authorizations. And that's the topics today. So let's go ahead and get started. So I have everybody muted. I'm going to keep you muted to the end, and then I will unmute everybody. And then if you have questions, just kind of save them to the end. I do that. It's not because I don't want to hear from you. It's just I got to make sure I can get through all the material. So just please hold your questions to the end, at which point I will unmute everybody and we can take questions. So let's get started. So we're looking right now at the case manager's homepage. This system I'm looking at is our test system. We do a lot of stuff on our test system. You know, our developers are constantly trying new things. We're in there trying to break things. Just there's a lot that goes on the system. So if I click on something and it doesn't work, it's only because we are doing things. We were doing something with this contacts tab earlier this morning, and we created a bug, but I think we have it fixed now, so we'll see as we go along. So this is your caseworker's homepage. All right. Now, when we built the new case management functions on our system, the executive directors we were working with, they had some high priorities that they wanted in the user interface for their case managers. And the one that really stuck out in my mind was one of the executive directors said, you know, when I was a case manager, I always went home at 5, and I'd be sitting at home with my wife and kids at 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and I'd be wondering what I missed. All right. He said, so I want a tool that the case managers can look at before they leave the office too, and just have a peace of mind when they get home at night. So that thought, and then also they wanted it easy. They didn't want you to have to read dates and text. So they wanted some color coding stuff on the system so it could catch your eye quickly and let you focus in more on the text and dates of the most critical things. So that's kind of what led to the design of this. So what you should do if you're a case manager, when you come into the office in the morning, just turn on your computer. If it's not already on, open up Vallejo, open up the system, log in, and as soon as you log in, click that login button. Just walk away, go get your coffee, go get, you know, whatever your typical morning routines are. You know, say hi to everybody, get a donut, you know, whatever those things are. And then when you get back to your desk, your system's going to be sitting here looking just like what you see on the screen. When a case manager logs in, if they're logging into their case manager homepage, if you're not, talk to your system admins. If this is where you want to start and you're not starting there right now, I highly recommend you do, because we made some changes that really simplifies navigation. So anyhow, when you get back to your desk, the dashboard should be sitting there. Now this dashboard is comprised of 6 tabs. Okay. Now what shows up on these tabs are the result of your agency administrators and system administrators talking to us about what they really want to be their priorities on the system. So these 6 tabs are very, very important to your management team. Now, they're trying to protect the agency and making sure the work gets done correctly. So you sit down at your desk, your dashboard's sitting there, and then you just want to work these tabs left to right. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through every link, every piece of thing that you can do from this dashboard in every tab. And then there's going to be 2 other areas that I'm going to focus on off of this pull over menu, okay? And you'll see that here shortly. So let's get started with the Client Care tab. The Client Care tab is going to show you any client care items that are in a yellow, red, or purple state. Yellow means they're coming up due soon. They're not overdue. They're not waiting on a supervisor, but they are due real soon. So these are things that should be on your radar. Now some of these things could turn yellow 30 days before they're due. Some of them may only turn yellow 7 days before they're due. That was all set up according to your agency administrators' guidelines. So when they turn yellow could vary between the different items. Okay, if you see something that's purple, that means it's waiting on a supervisor. And then if you see something that is red, that means the due date is come and gone and it's still in the system, in the Vallejo system. It says it's not completed. Okay, now, so that's what the color coding on the Client Care tab means. If something's due August 31st or October 31st and it only has a yellow highlight period of 7 days, then it's not going to be on here. That item would start showing up around October 23rd is when you'd start seeing that highlighted yellow on this screen. So now this Client Care tab has different links built into it. So what I want to do, typically we read left to right, but I'm going to act like we're from old days. We're going to actually do this right to left as far as showing you what the links are. So let's look at Mike Ware here. His treatment plan was due 5/22 of 2019. It's overdue. Now, if you're ready to complete this treatment plan, just click on that due date. It's going to open up the screen where you can go work on that treatment plan. Okay, so let me go ahead. I'm going to go back to where I was. So the due dates are actual links to the items. All right, if you are a supervisor, you'll see this one. Well, you'll see all these on your supervisor page. But if you're a supervisor and you want to complete this, enter your supervisor review, you can do it right from this dashboard by clicking on that due date. Come in here, put in your supervisor review date. When you hit save and return, it's going to return you back to your dashboard. And this is the same for case managers. If you're just clicking on a regular due date, you will not have the option to put in a supervisor review date, but you will be able to complete the items. Now, once you get it completed and you hit that save and return, it's going to pull you back here, that tab, and it's going to be updated. Notice how that the supervisor review item is now gone. So the items can be completed by clicking on the due dates. All right, if this family sexual safety plan, if I just happen to get it done now, even though it's not due yet, I could come in here. I can enter my date that I did, and I have permissions to do the supervisor review too, but you won't have that filled. But anyhow, you go ahead, you want to complete it, and I'm not going to fill all this out, just save a little time. Hit save and return. Now when I go back to that dashboard, that family sexual safety plan is gone, so it's not on there anymore. Okay, so that's the due date column. If you click on the words, okay, if I click on let me pick a good one. If I click on the word dental exam for Mike Ware, it takes me to the search page. Now notice this opened in a new tab, all right? If I go back to this tab, I'm right back to my dashboard. But let's go ahead and do this. From here, you can do a search, all right? Now you can manually put in dates if you want. I'll just go back 3 or 4 years. And I'm gonna go ahead a couple years and hit go. All right, and then you're going to find all the dental exams that was completed for this child during your date range. Now, when you first come here and these are blank, if you just hit the go, we'll go back 5 years and we'll go ahead 3 years, so you don't have to type in a date range. Or if you just want to look at the last 90 days, you can click that button. Now, once you get the results up here, So Mike Ware, the client, has only had one dental exam entered. And that was the one that was due on March 22nd of 2019. It was, or the due date was March 22nd. It was actually done on March 22nd. Now you can actually, from here, you can edit that, right? And there's the actual screen that was the information that was entered. You can actually open a printable report. There's the printable report. And again, that will just be for this one. Now down here, we have two other buttons. Close this window is just going to close that tab. Or we have a print detail report. Now this print detail report for this example would be the same as this button, right? But let's say there was 7 dental exams on this screen, okay? Now you can print each one individually, or you can print click this button and it'll put all 7 of those into one PDF document for you, so you don't have to print each one individually. If you need to come in here and review all 7 of these, well, to save time, you could click edit on each one, read it, close it, read the next one, or click this. You're still going to be able to review all 7 of them on one document, even if you don't need the printout. You can always just close that printout when you're done. Let me go ahead and click this to show you that it does work. All right, so here's the one that was completed. There's a second one in here. I don't know why we don't see it on the screen. Again, this is our research system, so we do all kinds of goofy stuff. But anyhow, so this is good. So you can see that you do get 2 complete dental records here. So if, let's say there were 7 of them, then you could review all 7 of those right from this printable document. When you're done, just close that document and you're right back to that search screen. Now you can hit this close window button, or when we clicked on the words dental exam and open in a new tab, you can just close that tab and you're right back to your dashboard. Okay, the next 2 links, there's 2 links over here on the left. The client's name is a link, and then the letter in parentheses is a link. That letter F stands for foster care. If you're an agency that does foster care residential and services, then you could see an F, an R, or an S. If you're an agency that just does foster care, you're only going to see an F. If you're an agency that just does residential, you only see an R. Okay. Now these are 2 different links. Okay. The client's name, and I'm going to use Tom Cruiser for this. The client's name will take you, opens in a new tab, and it takes you to their complete history page, okay? So you can see a history of everywhere Tom's been sleeping since he's been with your agency, okay? If you click on the letter F, it will take you to the client page. So this is a foster care placement, and this page is all about Tom Cruiser, except for you have some links down here to the foster home that Tom is placed in. If you're residential or services, then you're not going to have those links. It's going to be strictly about the client. So from here is where you can do anything you'd ever want to do on a client, you can do from right here, okay? Okay, so that's the client care tab. I'm just going to reiterate, you're going to see things on this client care tab that's yellow, purple, or red. Yellow means it's coming up due, red is overdue, purple means you're waiting on a supervisor. The type column are links where you can go do search for previous one of these items that have been completed. So like on this hearing exam, if Big Texas has had 10 of them, click on this, open up that search range, hit your search button, you'll see all 10 of those hearing exams that Big Texas has had. Then you have 2 links over here. The letter in parentheses is to the client page. The client's name is to their placement history. So that's the client care tab. The next tab is client care with no worker due dates. Now, some of the items that your agency may be tracking on clients is your administrators didn't want us to schedule the first one. A good example of that would be medical, dental, and optical. A lot of our partners don't have us schedule those first ones because you're supposed to find out when they had their last medical, dental, or optical. Now, the links on here, as far as the client name, the letter in parentheses, and the type, are still true. All right, those links are the same as what they were on the client care tab. But over here, all you have is no worker due date. So to complete this item, just click on that, come in here, put in your initial date. All right, hit save, or I'm going to hit save. Then once you save that initial date, then you'll get the screen that you can start filling out. And then once you're done with it, hit save and return. And now you're back to that dashboard tab. Now notice there's no more items waiting on you to initialize. So, okay, the next tab is contacts. Now this tab is all about your face-to-face visits, home visits, therapy sessions, anything that's really you're looking at face-to-face. And that's not a good way to put that either, because some of our partners, they have phone calls with school counselors. There's the treatment teams can be huge, and they have a lot of contacts outside of the agency that are over the phone or even email. But this contact tab is going to show every client. So let's get into the details of what it shows you. And then we're going to actually click on the add new. We're going to add one. Then I'm going to go over that copy button for you too. So the first client on this list is Tom Cruiser. He's in foster care. Let's scroll down here. I have his foster care kids. If Tom was in residential, you would see it. If he was in services, you would see the word services there. Now, the requirement for these contacts that your agency administrators had set up are going to be listed next, okay? So it's telling you right here that this payer requires 2 events with a total of 1 hour per month, okay? Now, this, and well, actually, these 3 things are going to determine how this is displayed, okay? Let's see. Yeah, good. There's some that are weekly and some are monthly. So this is a monthly requirement. So this is going to show you at the top of the next section is going to show you your current period, okay? So we're in September, so we're looking at the month of September. And it's also going to show you your previous period, okay? So we show you current and the previous one. Now this again is a monthly requirement. Let's scroll down here real fast and look at a weekly requirement. This one requires 1 event with 0.1 hours per week. So for the current period, that date range is just a week, all right? So you can see it's not the whole month. And then the previous would be last week, all right? Now, each one of these are showing you some different things. So you see what the requirements are. You see your current period and you see your previous period. Now this yellow bar is actually keeping track of 2 things for you. All right, there's actually a break in this yellow bar right here. The left half is tracking this piece of the requirement. The right half is tracking this piece of the requirement. Okay, so if you look at this previous month in August, the left half is still red. The right half is not highlighted. Well, the requirement is 2 events with a total of 1 hour per month. Well, they've only had 1 event, okay? In August, they had a group therapy session on August 5th. It lasted 1.5 hours, which meets the time requirement. And that's why this is not highlighted. So now, let's go ahead. I'm going to click on Add New here. And we're going to enter an August contact. And by now, I'm sure you all know to be able to select the type of contact, you do have to pick a date. Okay, and then this type list here is what your agency administrators had us set the system up to. Okay, so we're going to call this one a face-to-face Medicaid services. The terminology on that type list is not standard terminology on our system. So these terms you may not see on yours, okay? We don't have standard terminology for these types. Every partner tells us what they want in there. All right, so then you're going to come in here and you're just going to fill out the rest of this. And I'm not going to take the time to do all this. All right, but you're going to fill it out. And when you're done, you're going to hit save and return, okay? Now, notice that that red highlighted part for the left half is gone because now we have 2 events. Our time is 2 events that meets the event requirement, and our time is 3.5 hours, which well exceeds the 1 hour requirement. So nothing's highlighted here. So now, when you come in the morning and you're starting to work through your tabs on your dashboard, again, we built these pages to where you don't have to necessarily read everything. What you don't want to see is this, okay? You don't want to see red. because that's last in the first two cases here is last month's stuff. In the last two cases here, it's last week's stuff that's not done. Okay, so you just give it a quick visual check. All right, now if you see yellow and it's like September 25th, now you need to start getting a little concerned because you're at the end of the month. Why am I still yellow on all my clients? I should have most of these done. So you look at the color coding, quick check when you get in the morning, quick check before you leave the office, and it can give you a little bit of peace of mind. Okay, so now the other function I want to show you, well, before I get over here to the copy tool, now if you want to review one of these, then you just click on the date and it's going to open that item for you to review. Okay. If your agency administrators allow you to copy and paste between clients, then there will be a copy button over here. Okay. If you click that copy button, it's going to pull up this screen. Now you're going to say, I just want to see my own clients. So I'm going to click that button, show me only my clients. So if I wanted to copy this to two other clients, I don't know why that third client ain't showing up here, but it's like I said, we do a lot of goofy stuff on this system, but you will see all your clients here. So if I wanted to copy that, this is that one for 8/5 of 2019. It was a group therapy. I'm just going to check the kids' names that I want to copy to and hit save. All right. Now, when I get back here, I copied to Tom himself. Oh, I know why there's only two, because there's only two set up with this monthly requirement. So it's only going to allow you to copy to this only the kids that have the same requirement set up, right? But then here's the other kid that I copied it to. The test respite kid. Okay, so you can see that it copied that note in its entirety. So something about that though. So you got to be careful with privacy laws when you're copying these things between clients, because you should not, if you're in Tom's contact, Tom Cruiser's contact, you should not have narratives about the test respite client in Tom's contact. So if you're not using this already, and something you're going to go to your system administrators about, your organization needs to have a conversation about that, right? Because you don't want to violate those privacy issues. Now, with that being said, though, so that can scare a lot of people off of the copy routine, all right? But it's still a very good thing, because you can write. So let's say you go do a home visit. If you're doing foster care, you go do a home visit. Or if you're doing residential, you do a group therapy. Or services, you do a great group therapy. So you have multiple clients. And in foster home, there might be 4 kids. Your group therapy had 8 kids. So you could write a generic note, all right? You could copy it to every one of those other clients, and then right from this screen, so you come in here first, you're going to click add new, and you're going to write a very generic note. All right, now if you could save yourself a little time because you're on Tom, so you could also address Tom if you wanted to, but then once you copy it to the others, then you can come down here and you just click on this and edit it. Make sure Tom's stuff is not in there anymore, and put in the test respite stuff. So it can save you tons of time, even if you're concerned about the privacy. You just got to be mindful of the privacy part. So, okay, so that is the contact tab. The next tab is progress behavior. Now, the reason this has 2 settings is in foster care, I believe we call it behavior logs. In residential and services, we call them progress notes, but it's the same functionality whether you're doing foster care or residential or services. Again, you're going to see a section for each client. So here's the section for Tom Cruiser, then the test respite client starts, and then Big Texas starts. Okay. Now, this requirement for this payer is 1 log within a 1-month period. Okay, so this requirement is more set up like a behavior log, behavior log in foster care. So you're going to see again the current period, and you're going to see the previous period. Now, If this was real, this would not be a good thing, because we're sitting here September 13th and nothing's been entered for the month of August. Now, to enter one of those, just click the add button, put in your date. Let me go back to August, hit save and return. And now you can see that August is not highlighted red. Again, so when you're checking your dashboards, just give this a quick scroll up and down and see, make sure that everything's done. Now, the setup behind this, for foster care, what we typically see is 1 a week or 1 a month. But for residential, we normally see like 1 shift a day, 2 shifts a day. With some of our partners do 3 shifts a day. I think we can go up to 9 shifts a day. So if this was like 3 shifts a day, then there would be 3 columns here. You'd see shift 1, shift 2, shift 3. But other than that, it all works the same way. Okay. The next tab is pending tasks. We're doing some work. Let me open a different case manager real fast so I can show you. Pending tasks. I'm going to open up Chris Jones caseworker page. We're doing some work around the client care modules, and we're going to be trying to reduce how much you got to use pending tasks for. All right, we're trying to eliminate some of that. But when you get here, when you click on pending tasks, it's going to show you any pending tasks that are out there waiting to be completed. Okay, now to complete one of these, again, just click on the due date. Come in here. It's going to let you fill it out. Hit save and return, and you're right back. Oh, I'm sorry. I was still on the client care tab. Pending tasks. This looks better. Yeah. So pending tasks, what these things are. So most of the stuff your agency's having is tracking the client care module. But some of the stuff is not really meant for a client care module, but your agency still wants to give you reminders to make sure you're doing it. Okay. Like for instance, this client orientation. They don't necessarily want to track that in the client care module. They just want to make sure that you go over orientation with the client, have them sign off on it or whatever. So it's just sitting here to remind you to do it. Now, to complete one of these, so this is a discharge summary. If you click on the client's name, it's going to take you to placement history. Click on the letter F, it's going to take you to the client page. Chris Jones, the case manager, is not a link. The due date is not a link. Okay, this is nothing more than like a date tracking thing. Right, so let's say I got this done, and let's say I got it done on time. So I'm going to put my date in here, and I'm going to hit done. Okay, so let me hit OK. Yeah. Now, that particular pending task is set up to where I can complete it completely. Some tasks we can set up to where you have to do it first, but then it stays on your dashboard until a supervisor signs off on it. And they sign off on it the same way that I'm doing it here. When you go look at a supervisor page and they go to pending tasks, it's the same screen, all right? Same links, everything's the same. How they complete it's the same way. What they'll see here, though, if they have to sign off on it, they will see that date that you entered. So if this was an item that they have to sign off, you put 8/20/2019 as your completed date. When they come in here, that date's going to be sitting here. All you have to do is hit that done button. Okay. Okay. If you have the right permissions, you'll be able to delete it. Typically, only system administrators have that delete button. And there is a printable report of that. Okay. You can click that button and print those all out. Then the last tab is to do task, right? And again, there's links here. This link here is going to take you to the actual task, right? Complete history, client page. This is not a link, and the due date's not a link. So on these tasks, to complete one, just come in here, click on the name, and say, I've completed this, okay? Close this window, and when I refresh that page, then that one's gone. Okay. Now, to-do tasks, if you haven't used them, what to-do tasks are, they are totally a scratch pad for you. These are not system-generated things. These are all controlled by you to enter a to-do task for yourself. If you do it from here, from your home page, from your caseworkers page. If you come in here and do it, what this will allow you to do, if you have to do the same task for all 4 kids, come here and do it. You can do this at a client page also under the client care module jump to menu, but that you can only do it there for that one particular kid. If you do it here, you can enter to do tasks for all 4 kids. So let me just go ahead and do this. I'm going to say it's due the 17th. We'll say this is a file audit. Hit save. And now I just entered it to do tasks for all 4 kids. So now if I go back to my dashboard, oh, wrong link. We're going to be looking at that here shortly. If I come back to my dashboard and click on to do tasks, there's other 4 reminders I set up for myself. So again, when you're done with them, just come in here. Now, if you want to add more notes there, you can add more notes before you hit complete, and it will save it. But once you do that, then if you refresh that page, that one's gone. So that is your login dashboard. This dashboard is all about kids, okay? So now let's look at if you're responsible for some stuff on your homes, okay? When on your pullover menu on this case manager's login page, you have a pullover menu. We have a link called requirements. Now, if you're using this already, you're going to see something right now in our test system that you're really going to like, right? So let me go ahead and click on requirements, and let me click on this. This is not in our production environment yet. It's coming. We're still working on it. But let me click on that dashboard. So now you have the same type of dashboard for stuff about your homes, your parents, and the other people associated with homes, okay? So again, you have 8 tabs here. They're pretty self-explanatory. The first tab is date tracker stuff. So for this parent, and that is a link. Let me click on that real fast, show you where it takes you. It takes you to the parent detail page, okay, because you're looking at a parent. If you click on down here is the person's other people involved with the home. If you click on one of these, it's going to take you to that person detail page, all right? So this is about Paul Hanrahan, okay. If you're looking at parent, it tells you if they're primary or secondary. If you're looking at a person, it tells you what their role is with that home. All right, supporting agency is what is the item, okay? Expiration date, these are clickable, all right? So now, if you wanted to update this, just click on that date. It's going to open up that pending task item. So we're going to say this looks like a 5-year requirement. So we're going to say we did it now in 2019. So that means the next one is due in 2024. Hit save, close that. And if I refresh that, then this pet immunization for Holly Gennaro is going to go away. All right, so you can actually complete the items from here. All right, and then this is just the person that first entered these, and then the notes filled from those items. Home requirements tab. Same thing, link to the parent details. These are not links, but if for Holly, if you got that safety audit done, just click on that 6/1/2005 date. I don't know if it was 2015. Come in here and say, well, I did that 6/7/2015. Fill out your form. Hit save. Now that was a new tab that popped up. All right. So when you're done, just close it, hit refresh, and that safety audit will be gone. It needs a supervisor review. Let me go ahead and do that. Save, close that tab, hit the refresh button, and that safety audit is now gone. Well, no, it's not, because it wants me to do another one. So I would have to walk that all the way up to 2019 to get that declared. But in your case, it would be gone. So parent requirement works the same way. Link to the parents. What is the item? And you click on here to go do it. Okay. Person requirement, same way. Link to the person's details page. How are they characterized? So this is other person living in a home in Dayton, other person involved with home in Dayton, okay? Then this is what is the item? It's a local police check. Again, you can click on the due date and do that, okay? So those are pretty straightforward. Now these next two is parent trainings expiring, and if your agency is tracking trainings on those other people involved with the home, like alternate caregivers or babysitters, then those people's trainings would expiring trainings would show up here. So let's just go ahead and look at this. Now there are links here, a link to Holly. Nothing else here is a link, okay, other than this send announcement. So you can actually, with these buttons, you could, with the click of this button, if you're using foster parent logins, you can click this. When Holly logs in the next time to the system, the foster parent Holly, she's going to have a message on her homepage that says, hey, your restraint training expired October 15th. You need to do something about that. So if you want to do it, with one click of this button, you can create announcements for all of the parents about all their different expiring trainings. Yeah, person training expiring. Now we don't have the announcement stuff because we don't have these people logging into our system. So these you're going to have to, get the message out yourself. So then the last two tabs are driver's license expiring. Again, click on that. It's going to take you here to where you can say, okay, we got the new one. It's good for 2 years. Come down here, hit save. Once you're done, close that tab. If I hit refresh, then that should be gone. And it's running real slow. That will go away. So, and then auto assurance works the same way. So, okay, driver's license, person training. Okay, and you do have a refresh button here that will refresh the page for you. So that's something new coming out any day now. Now these tabs here are the same things that's listed down here. Okay, now if I come look at one of these, let's go look at the foster home requirements. It's a little bit of a different view, all right, but it's showing you the same thing. The thing about the dashboard, it's quick, it's easy to use. You don't have to keep swapping between the links over here, pulling that menu over. You can just click on the tabs. So, okay, so let me kind of rehash where we've been so far before I show you the last thing I want to show you today on the case manager's homepage. So you come in, you log in to your PC, you get Vallejo up and running. You go get your coffee, you say hi to everybody, do whatever that morning routine is. You get back here, first thing you want to do is look at this dashboard. Again, the one that comes up automatically is the client dashboard, all right? When you're done with this, if you're responsible for any of this stuff, then come look at this dashboard. And again, we're going to be releasing that soon, probably within the next 2 months. Until then, if you're responsible for any of these things, then you just got to click on these links to go through it. This one is just going to make it a few minutes quicker by using the dashboard than clicking on the links. Okay, so now once you're done with that dashboard and the requirements, but yeah, before I do that, let me just navigate away for a second. All right, now if you're somewhere else and you want to get back to your caseworker's homepage, then you can always click this button here and it'll take you back there. Or if you're on your caseworker's homepage and you got away from the dashboard, then you can always just come back here and get back to that dashboard. Or if you want to go to that home dashboard, just come there. Okay. Now, the big change, and this is what most people don't realize, is this new link up here called placements. Okay, so this is going to be your caseload. Okay. So every kid on your caseload is going to be shown here. If you're doing foster care, it's going to show you their home. It's going to show you who the payer is, what their level of care is, a link to review bed holds. If they have an open incident, a client incident that's still in an open or approved state and it's not completed, then you'll see the letters CI sitting here. You can click on those and go look at that incident. If you're residential, you could see a CI for client incidents, or a BA, which is a behavior alert, or an MA, which is a medical alert, okay? And you can click on those links and it'll take you to the behavior alerts for that client or the medical alerts for that client. If you're doing services, then you're just going to have the incident, the CIs. The next column is a link to medications. Then this referral link is a link to the referral that led to this current placement, okay? If this kid has had 10 referrals and the first 9 you said, no, we can't work with them, we don't have beds or whatever, but the 10th one you made a placement, this link will take you to that 10th one that drove this placement. All right, and then the last column you have over here is authorizations, which I'm probably not going to get into fully because I'm running a little behind, but it'll take you there. And we're going to click on all these here in just a second. Now, here's the big change, though. And again, these things are all links, okay, except on residential. Some of these things are not links on residential, but you can still get to them from this column here. So now we have this thing called an action column, okay. Now from here, you can enter contacts, you can enter behavior logs. Again, we're looking at foster care. If this was residential, I'd say progress note. Okay, you can enter incidents, you can get to the medications, you can enter a collateral contact from here, you can enter a connection, the sibling connection inside a region, outside, whatever connections you're tracking. If you need to look at their level of care, if you have the right security level, you'll be able to look at, you'll be able to edit level of care. And then you can actually go to the bed hole screen also. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go down, click on 3 or 4 of these. We don't have to do them all because you guys are used to seeing what these screens do for you. I just want to make sure you know these links work. I want you to see how they work. When we're done with that, then we're going to click on all these links across the page. And then I'm going to show you something from this client menu when we're done doing all that. And then we'll go on to signatures. So let's pretend, so we came in, we logged in the morning, we checked our dashboard. I personally am responsible for my home's requirements. So I checked my home's dashboard. Everything's good on those. I did all the work I need to do from those. I did from the dashboards. And now, as soon as I get done with those dashboards, I do that pull over menu, I click on that, and this is where I'm going to leave the system sit. Okay, and you don't have to get out if you're going out to lunch. Just leave it. You can leave it on your screen because your computer should lock. If you guys are following HIPAA rules, your computer will lock, which is all the protection you need in regards to privacy. So now you get back and you want to enter in a behavior log for Luke. All right. So if you hit this down arrow, come in here, click on behavior log. Notice this opened in a new window. Okay. So I can enter my behavior log, save it. And as soon as I'm done, close that window and I'm right back here. And let's say for this client, I need to go enter an incident. Again, it opens in a new window. All right. Oh, I just shook everything off. But it opens in a new window so I can enter that incident, save it. As soon as I'm done, close that window and I'm right back here. Now, I also need to enter that incident led to a bed hold for this client. So I need to enter the bed hold, right? Click on that, it takes you to the bed hold screen again. It's a new window. As soon as you're done, close it. All right. Let's say for Mike down here, I needed to enter a collateral contact. Now, in case you haven't noticed either, on these collateral contacts, and the reverse of this is true too, and I'll tell you what I mean by the reverse. So I clicked on a collateral contact for Mike where we know what foster home Mike is in. So if you want to enter this contact under Mike and save a copy to the Groundwalker home, just click that box and hit save, and you just put a copy in Mike's file and you put a copy in the foster home file too. And then if you do a contact from a foster home or foster parent and they have kids, let's say they had 4 kids, when you do it from a home or a parent, you'll see there's 4 kids listed here, and you can actually write copies to those kids from that side. Okay. But again, once you're done, anything you can do, we covered like 98% of what you do for a kid from this. This is called a census page, all right? The only thing we don't have access to from here is the client care module, right? But all you got to do is click on the client's name to get there, and I'm going to show you that here in a second. So that is the action column. This next little thing is a magnifying glass. All it does is open up a window with some additional information. right? So if I pull this down, you can see what information it has. All right. So it's just a view only thing. All right. If you click on Tom's name, now this opened in a new tab and you're at the client's page. All right. So if you need to go do something in that client care module, then here it is. Okay. Now, if it's something that's yellow, red, or purple, you still don't have to come to the client page because those are going to be on your dashboard. All right, so that's why we say 98% of the stuff that you do day in and day out, you can do right from your caseworker homepage without going to the client page. All right, if you have to go to the client page, then once you get on that census, it's real easy. Click on the client's name. Again, now this opened in a new tab. All right, up here. So as soon as I'm done, I just close that. Okay, if I click on the home's name, again, it opened a new tab. Now I'm on the home details page. All right. So here's all those people involved with the home, the parents, all that stuff you can do on a home. If I click on the agency name, if you have the right security permissions, then you're going to see this. All right. Now there's 3 sections to this page. The first section is about agency billing. The next section is about level of care. And the third section is about billing level. Now, if your security level is too low, you won't even see agency billing or billing level, and you won't have any edit buttons or add buttons. Okay, all you're going to do is be able to view level of care. We're going to be releasing that soon. That's a new change. We're trying to get stuff off the screens that is just cluttered to you. So if you're a security level 2, the only thing you're going to see is level of care, and you won't be able to change or add anything to it. Okay. Now, this level of care column is going to take you to that same page where you're just at. Okay, so agency billing and level of care are done from this page. So those 2 links do the same thing. Now, if I click on bed holds, it's going to show me a list of the bed holds that the client has had. If I need to add a new one, again, that opened in a new tab. All right, if I need to add a new one, this opens in a new window. So I add a new one, close it, make sure I'm done with this, close that tab, and I'm right back here so I can go do whatever I need to do with the next client. Again, if the client has an open incident, there will be a CI here. You can click on that. It'll open in a new tab, right? You can review it. You can do whatever you need to do with it. Close the tab, and you're right back here, okay? Medications, same thing. For this kid, it's going to open up the medication history in the place where you can add, well, this is the existing medication. This is for Tom Cruiser. And then you have a section to add new medications. Referral, again, this is the referral that led to the current placement. Okay, so you can go review that referral. Again, it opened a new tab, and then authorizations. This is going to take you to the link for authorizations for that client. So this client has some authorizations. Then I have a section down here to add new authorizations. So, okay, so that is what is labeled here, the placements page. Now, if your agency gave you this, these are called legacy menus, but under the client menu, if you come here, there's a thing called a foster care census. So you can open that if you have access to it, and every agency is different. Some give it, some don't. But this will be all the kids in your branch, and everything works the same way. So if you're covering for another case manager and you need to go do something for Eric, you can come to this foster care census page, and then you have that same functionality available to you that you'll have for your own case on here. Residential census page, same way. All right. Now, some of these aren't links, okay, but look at the action list. Action list is a lot longer, so it still saves you tons of times the links that are built into here, okay? And then if you're doing services, there will be a link to that services census page too, and that's this one. Okay, and then most of these are all links. Also work the same way as what I went over for foster care. Here's the action list. So, okay, so that is the caseworker's homepage. Now, that took a little more time than what I was anticipating it to. So let me get into signatures real fast. Now, on our system, we have 3 types of signatures, okay? we have signature lines, signature capture, and digital signatures. So what I want to do is just show you how these three things work real quick. And then I'm going to talk about that if your agency was willing to change how they're doing signatures, it could save you quite a bit of time. So let me go to Tom Cruiser. So I'm on the foster care census page. I'm just going to click on Tom's name because I want to go to his client care module. And I have a sample called additional field types here that we're going to look at. So let me go ahead and, yeah, I'm going to open up the next due one. So this was due 9/22/2022. Let me hit a save button when I see one. There's one. Okay. So now there's three types of signatures we do. The first type is signature capture, and that's what this is showing you right here. All right. With this, you're gonna have to sign the screen every time you want to sign something. So I can actually do this with my mouse. I am kind of shaky. My hands are, so it's kind of hard for me to do with a mouse. But your touchpad on laptops, you can use that. You can buy these Topaz devices that like you see at a grocery store, and you can actually sign it on screen. Okay, and then I can actually type my name in here. That's good enough. I don't know what JAOP, just a ordinary person. Okay, so that's signature capture type. Okay, now let me go ahead and hit save. The second type of signatures I want to talk about is called digital signatures. So what this one is, this is a digital signature field. Okay, now when they hired me, they had me set up my digital signature. Okay, so I captured my signature. I signed myself a 4-digit PIN. I put in Paul Hanrahan, JAOP, and whatever I put in there, I capture that when I get hired. You have access to that right here under this gear. I clicked on this gear to get to this page. Okay, so let me go ahead. If you guys don't have digital signatures set up and your agency decides to start using them, you will come in here to set up your digital signature. Okay, so that's where you set it up. Let me hit back a couple times, go back to where I was. So now when I go to sign this document, then all I have to do is enter my 4-digit PIN. Okay, and I hit validate PIN, and it says your PIN is validated. You must save to complete the signature. So just come down here and hit the save button. Now you save that digital signature. Now something about these digital signatures, once it's saved, then it changes from where you enter your PIN. It says signed by Paul Hanrahan on this date. Now something we can do with these. Notice I had these two signatures in the middle of this document. I did that for a reason. When we set up digital signatures, we can also protect these fields above. So we can protect them to where nobody else but the person who signed it can change it, or the person that signed it and the person they review to, or we can set up what's called custom review levels. So like if we could set up these fields to where once this digital signature is entered, these are all protected and nobody can change them unless they have a review level 3 or higher. And we can also even hide the fields where you can't even see them. You'll see the field title, but you won't see the value. Okay, so digital signatures opens up how we can hide stuff on the forms once a document is digitally signed. Okay, then the last type of signatures that we do is called signature lines. So let me click down here on this printable report. These are signature lines. Okay, it's just a place on a printed document for people to sign. Okay, that's all it is. Very rudimentary concept, but it works well. They're still very valuable. That's why they're still on our system. We'll probably never take them off because they are still used quite often. Okay, so those are the three types of signature. Let me open that report again, show you. So here's that signature capture I did. All right, and then here's where I typed in Paul Hanrahan JOP. this is the digital signature. This is the one they captured when they hired me, right? And I typed in Paul Henry and LSS. I'm kind of don't know what my credentials are, but and this is the date that I signed this document. Okay, so this date doesn't have to match the date of the actual that you did the item, so it don't have to be the same as this. Now, something I didn't talk about. Well, you notice on this printable report, there's a place for case manager, supervisor, custodian, GAL, and CASA. Okay. Now, with signature capture, you could have, this could say CASA worker. This could say, then another one for GAL, then another one for the client, another one for the foster parent, another one for supervisor. You could have multiple signature captures. You can also have multiple digital signatures. Okay, so this is the case manager or the person completing the item. You could have another digital signature down here for a supervisor, right? And the way that could work is this signature locks everything down above it, and the supervisor, if it's down here and they digitally sign a document, it could lock down everything between the previous one and the next digital signature. The only thing about digital signatures are that people have to be a user on your system. So you can't set up digital signatures for CASA workers, GALs, or anybody else like that. When we built digital signatures, we had to make sure they'd hold up in court. All right. So with that requirement on us, we have to validate that 4-digit PIN to the username and password. The three things are tied together. If any one of those three things don't match, it will not validate your signature. So what that means, if Zephyr was logged in here and I came in here and sat down and I tried to enter my 4-digit PIN under Zephyr's login, it's never going to accept it, right? So digital signatures are staff only. Signature captures anybody because it's like that machine at the grocery store when you use a credit card or whatever. And then signature lines, you can put multiple of those on any document also. So that is signatures. If you have the right security level, so let's say I signed this and it hit everything up here or something was wrong, if you have the right security level, you can actually reset that, okay? And it's going to say, are you sure you want to do that? And yeah, you can actually reset that. So if I came down here and hit save, now I can go back in here and enter my PIN after I fix everything. Hit save, and now I re-sign the document. So digital signatures can be reset. These cannot be. You'd have to contact us if you want a signature capture reset. So, okay. I seen something on the screen too. I don't know if you're aware of. We can actually build links on these pages. It's where you just click on that. It would actually go out to the internet and open that page for you. So, point that out. So, listen, it has been an hour. I really don't have time for authorizations. I'll do authorizations in the next webinar. But I'm going to unmute everybody and see if there's any questions. Well, is there any questions? Okay. Well, thank you for attending. I'll be sending out the link as soon as I get this loaded up to YouTube. I'll get you the links, get the link sent out to you. Thank you.